The darkest thing ancient humans did to survive the cold was not fighting monsters. It was making choices. Cold does not care if a person is kind. It does not care who is tired, who is hungry, who is young, who is old, or who deserves another chance. When the temperature drops far enough, the body becomes a problem that must be solved every hour. And sometimes, solving that problem meant doing things that would feel brutal to you now. Not because ancient people were less human, because they were human in a world that gave them fewer exits. Start with the body. Your body is warm because it burns fuel. Food becomes heat. Muscle movement becomes heat. Brown fat, blood flow, breath, shivering, and stored energy all help keep the center of you alive. But the cold has patience. It pulls heat through air. It steals heat through the ground. It turns wet skin into a trap. It makes fingers clumsy, judgment slower, and sleep more dangerous. So the first dark truth is this. Survival was not about comfort. It was about deciding what damage you could accept. Ancient humans wore animal skins because skin keeps warmth in. But before a hide could become protection, an animal had to be taken apart. The warm body became meat, fat, sinew, bone, hide, marrow, tools, fuel, glue, stitching, bedding, and shelter. Nothing could be wasted, because waste was not just inefficient. Waste was cold. That sounds practical, but think about what it meant. A dead animal was not only food, it was a building supply. A coat, a blanket, a container, a wall against wind, a layer between a sleeping child and frozen ground. The same body that had been hunted in daylight became the technology that kept human bodies alive after sunset. This is one of the oldest uncomfortable facts about cold survival. Warmth often came from death. The second dark thing was cutting the world into usable pieces. A modern person sees a carcass and thinks of meat. Ancient humans saw a whole system. Long bones could be cracked for marrow. Fat could be rendered. Tendons could become cord. Bone could become needles, points, awls, or fasteners. Hides could be scraped again and again until they became flexible enough to wrap a body. Even scraps mattered. The work was messy. It was repetitive. It was probably exhausting in the cold. But without it, the night became harder. You do not survive a glacial world by respecting clean categories. Food becomes clothing. Clothing becomes bedding. Bone becomes tool. Tool becomes more food. Ash preserves an ember. An ember becomes mourning. Every part has to become something else. Then there was fire. Fire looks comforting from a distance, but in a cold world, fire was not a symbol. It was labor. It had to be fed, guarded, moved, sheltered, shared, and sometimes rationed. A huge flame could waste fuel. A tiny ember could save morning. The question was not just how to make fire. It was how to keep heat alive when everyone wanted to sleep. That led to another harsh choice. Someone had to stay awake. Maybe not one person all night. Maybe the group took turns. Maybe the light sleeper heard the fire shift. Maybe an older person knew when the coals needed air. But the night did not protect everyone equally. If a child slept, someone else had to notice the draft. If a hunter collapsed from exhaustion, someone else had to add fuel. If smoke gathered, someone had to wake up enough to move a body before coughing became danger. The dark part is not that people helped each other. The dark part is that help had a cost. The warmth of one sleeping body could depend on another body losing sleep. The safety of one child could depend on an adult staying cold at the edge of the group. A shared fire made people safer, but it also made them dependent. If the person on watch failed, everyone paid. Ancient survival was social, but social does not always mean gentle. Sometimes it means your life is in the hands of the person who is least exhausted. The fourth dark thing was that warmth could force people into closeness. You may think of personal space as normal. In deep cold, personal space can be expensive. Bodies are heat sources. A group lying close together loses less warmth than scattered individuals. Children, injured people, and weaker members could be placed nearer the center. Stronger or more alert people might sleep nearer the edge. That sounds caring, and it can be. But it also means the group became a living machine. Where you slept mattered. Who got the driest bedding mattered. Who was closest to the fire mattered. Who had the best hide layer mattered. Who had to move when smoke entered the shelter mattered. These are not dramatic movie choices, but in a severe winter, small unfairness can become survival mathematics. Cold turns ordinary arrangements into moral pressure. Then there was food. Food was not only hunger relief. Food was heat before it became heat. Fat mattered because fat carries dense energy. Marrow mattered. Meat mattered. Stored food mattered. Even a small meal before sleep could help the body keep burning through the night. That created one of the hardest questions any group can face. Who eats now? Not who deserves to eat in a perfect world. Who eats when the supply is limited, the night is long, and tomorrow still has to happen? A skilled hunter needs strength. A child needs protection. A pregnant person needs energy. An injured person needs care. An elder may hold knowledge that keeps everyone alive. The person who goes for fuel before dawn needs enough strength to walk. There is no clean answer. So the darkest part of ancient cold survival may have been rationing. Not because rationing is violent, because rationing forces people to turn love into order. If everyone eats the same when needs are different, someone may fail. If food is given only to those who can work, the group becomes cruel. If too much is saved for tomorrow, tonight becomes dangerous. If too much is eaten tonight, tomorrow becomes weaker. Cold does not ask for fairness. It asks for consequences. Now comes the part people often want to turn into a horror story. Cannibalism. There is real archaeological evidence that some ancient human groups, including some Neanderthal groups, cut, broke, and processed human bones in ways that resemble butchery. Sites such as Moulagursi in France and El Sidron in Spain have been discussed by researchers as evidence that human bodies were sometimes processed after death. But this is where accuracy matters. It does not mean every ancient group did it. It does not mean cold was always the reason. It does not mean they were monsters. It does not even always tell us whether the act was survival, violence, ritual, starvation, or some combination we cannot fully recover. The dark thing is not a simple claim that ancient humans ate each other to survive winter. The dark thing is that extreme pressure can make a human body become part of the survival problem. Archaeology gives us traces, cut marks, broken bones, burned fragments, patterns that look like processing, but it does not give us the voice of the person standing there. It does not tell us what they felt. It does not tell us who made the decision. That silence may be darker than the act itself, because the past does not always explain itself. Another dark survival strategy was using things modern people would reject as disgusting. Dung can burn in places where wood is scarce. Bones can help feed a fire when fat remains. Ash can protect coals. Animal grease can be used. Smoke can dry meat and hides, but smoke also irritates eyes and lungs. A shelter that holds warmth may also trap bad air. A fire that keeps predators cautious may also attract attention, consume fuel, and fill a low space with smoke. The ancient world did not offer clean solutions. It offered trade-offs: warmth with smoke, food with danger, shelter with confinement, clothing with endless labor, fire with the risk of losing all your fuel before dawn. This is why the cold was so dangerous. It did not attack only the skin. It attacked planning. It attacked patience. It attacked cooperation. It made every small weakness larger. A loose seam became a cold wrist. A damp hide became a dangerous blanket. A bad campsite became a wind tunnel. A sleeping guard became a dying fire. A missed meal became a colder body. And once the body starts losing too much heat, the mind changes. Hypothermia can make a person confused. It can make them slow. It can make them stop making good decisions exactly when decisions matter most. That means the group had to protect people not only from cold, but from the version of themselves that cold could create. Someone might need to be woken. Someone might need to be moved. Someone might need to be forced closer to heat. Someone might need help before they could ask for it. That is not dramatic heroism. It is maintenance under threat. The next dark thing was leaving beauty behind. A modern person may picture ancient life as natural and free, but cold survival often meant choosing ugly practicality. You choose the campsite with wind protection, not the prettiest view. You sleep near smoke because smoke means fire. You wear stiff hides because stiffness is better than freezing. You eat what is available. You carry heavy fuel. You scrape, stitch, patch, dry, crack, grind, and repair. Freedom can shrink in the cold. The world becomes a checklist written by danger. Is the bedding dry? Is the entrance too open? Is the fire protected? Is there more fuel? Can the weakest person still move in the morning? Did anyone see tracks near the camp? Will the wind turn? The darkest things ancient humans did were often not spectacular. They were small, repeated, and necessary. Breaking bones for marrow, scraping hides for hours, sleeping packed together, burning whatever would burn, eating fat when the stomach wanted more, keeping a dying ember alive, giving up privacy, accepting smoke, choosing who needed warmth first. That is why this story should not make ancient humans look savage. It should make them look frighteningly close to you. Because under enough pressure, the boundary between civilization and survival gets thinner than people like to believe. You live in a world where warmth usually arrives quietly. A thermostat clicks. A light turns on. A refrigerator holds food. A coat was made by someone you will never meet. The system is hidden, so comfort feels natural. But ancient humans saw the system every day. They saw the animal become clothing. They saw the bone become tool. They saw the ember become mourning. They saw the group become shelter. They saw that survival did not come from one heroic act, but from 100 uncomfortable compromises made before anyone could rest. And that is the real darkness. Not that ancient humans were cruel, not that they loved violence, not that the past was one long nightmare, The real darkness is that survival can make decent people do hard things, ordinary things, and sometimes terrible things, because the cold does not negotiate. By dawn, the camp might not look heroic. It might look dirty, smoky, tired, and half broken. Hides drying near a low fire, bones cracked beside stones, someone asleep too deeply, someone awake too long, a child wrapped in the best layer. A few red coals protected under ash. Nothing clean, nothing easy, just a small circle of warmth that lasted one more night. The darkest thing ancient humans did to survive the cold was not fighting monsters. It was becoming the kind of group the cold could not easily erase.